Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians. Gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, and a sincere salutation to all the ark and pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Akbar who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah, coming into another lesson in true facts, faith, and edification. Another daily edification, Lord's willing to be edifying. And this is only the wise will understand.
Well, Genesis 6, verses 1 to 4 is a difficult text. And as we attempt to interpret it, we should be humble because there are different interpretations that have been taken of this text. And I don't think that whatever interpretation we take, I don't think we should be divisive with other Christians in the church or among the people of God. There are three, Genesis 6 says that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, and they chose the daughters of men for themselves as wives, and they married them. So the question is, who are the sons of God that are marrying the daughters of men? Well, there are three different interpretations. One is that the sons of God is a reference to the godly line of Seth. Cain killed Abel, so after Abel died, Adam and Eve had relations, and Seth was born, and Seth carried on the godly faith of Abel. So one idea is that the sons of God are the descendants of Seth, marrying the daughters of men, the ungodly line of Cain. Second interpretation is that the sons of God refers to angels, angelic beings, intermarrying with humans. The third idea is that the sons of God are heroes from the mythical past, tyrant kings. We have stories from the ancient Near East, for example. We have stories of a person by the name of Gilgamesh, and he was part god and part human and accomplished many mighty feats. So how do we find the right interpretation? The exact expression, sons of God, only occurs 4 or 5 times in the Hebrew Bible. We have one occurrence here in Genesis 6. We have 2 occurrences in the introduction to the book of Job. In the introduction to the book of Job, we see God gathering in his heavenly court, his heavenly assembly, with the angels. The angels are called sons of God there. There's another occurrence in the book of Job, Job chapter 38, where God is challenging Job, and he says, where were you when I created the world? When he created the world, the sons of God sang for joy. So it seems to, it also seems to be a very clear reference to angelic beings. The last occurrence is in Aramaic in the book of Daniel. When the king looked into the furnace, he saw four people there, and it says that one looked like a son of God, which would mean a divine being, an angelic being. There are
that was Yahweh Shai, man. Okay? That appeared in the furnace with the 3 holy children.
only 5 occurrences in the entire Bible where we have the exact expression Son of God or sons of God, and it always refers to angelic beings. We must distinguish this use from other places. There are other places in the Bible where they indicate that the relationship of a human to God is like a father-son relationship. So Adam and God have a father-son relationship. In the covenant that God makes with David, God and David have a father-son relationship. But it doesn't actually say that Adam is a son of God. doesn't use that linguistic expression, and it doesn't say that David is the son of God. So the only time that linguistic expression occurs in the Bible, it always and very clearly refers to angelic beings. We also have the witness of the New Testament. So there are two passages in the New Testament that refer to this. One is 2 Peter chapter 2, and the other is the book of Jude. And both of these texts are very closely related to each other. In 2 Peter chapter 2, Peter is talking about how difficult days are coming for the Christians. And there will be people who deny the faith, who deny the truth about Jesus Christ, the truth about his work, who deny the gospel. There will be false teachers, and they will bring corruption into the church and destruction into the church. What Peter does is he appeals to the Old Testament, and he says, well, if God could deliver his faithful people in difficult times in the Old Testament, then he will be able to do it in the New Testament as well. Peter refers to two examples in the Old Testament. One is the story of of Genesis 6 and Noah, and the other is the story of Lot being rescued from the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. And if you look in the Greek text of 2 Peter, it's very clear that there are two examples and not three examples by the use of the word and. So if God did not spare the angels who sinned, and he delivered Noah, and he did not spare the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, and he rescued Lot. So there are two examples joined by the word and each example has two parts, a negative part and a positive part, a negative part and a positive part.
So you see, these Idumeans don't understand the scriptures, man. Okay, Daniel 12 and 10 said the wicked would not understand. Now, I'm going to read this verse that he was quoting. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. It reads, for if God spared not the angels that sin. First off, angels don't sin, right? Angels cannot sin. They are in the spiritual realm. Okay? They do the work of the Most High, man. It tell you that in 2 Thessalonians 2 Chronicles 18:18 that the angels of the Lord are on the right hand and on the left, man. Okay? You got the right hand angels and you got the left hand angels. And they don't sin against the Lord. Okay? Satan never sinned against the Lord. He never rebelled against the Lord. So they don't understand, man. It reads 2 Peter 2 and 4. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, meaning in a condition, a judgment, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. Okay? Let's read the one in Jude. This is Jude 1 and verse 6. And it reads, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he had reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. Okay? So, the angels which kept not their first estate is not talking about the ones in the spiritual realm with the Most High Yahweh and His Son Yahushua. The angels that sinned. Angels don't sin, man. They don't eat. They don't have sex. Okay? They are angels, man, in the spiritual realm. So it's the angels that sin. Who is that talking about? Let's find out. This is Genesis 32. This is Genesis 32 and verse 22. It reads, and he rose up that night and took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons and passed over the ford Jabbok, and took them and sent them over the brook and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man and Jacob, Genesis 32 and 24, and Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. Okay? Until the breaking of the day, man. However long time that is, that was a long period of time. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, when the angel saw that he prevailed not against Jacob, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint. So the angel had to dislocate Jacob's thigh, man, to make him let him go. But Jacob didn't let him go. And he wrestled with him, and he said, "Let me go." This is what the angel telling Jacob. "For the day breaketh." And he said, "I will not let thee go, except thou bless me." Okay? And he said unto him, "What is thy name?" And he said, "Jacob." Verse 28. And he said, "Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince have thy power with God and with men, and has prevailed. So your name shall no more be Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince has thy power with God." Okay? Israel in the Hebrew is Yasha Allah. He Prince Power. Okay? And before it was called Prince of the Power, Prince Prince with power, Prince of Power with the Most High Yahweh, it was sons of God, man. Okay? So, and he said, "Thy name shall be no more Jacob, but Israel. As for a prince that has power with God and with men and has prevailed." Okay? Now let's read the other one in Hosea. This is Hosea chapter 12 and verse 3. And it reads, "He took his brother by the heel in the womb, and by his strength he had power with God." Yasha Allah. He Prince Power. Israel, man. Okay? Jacob. His name was changed to Israel. Who is this, man? The princes of the Most High, man. Now, when you go to Psalms 82 and 6, it reads this: "I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High." Who are this talking to? This talking to the Israelites, man. So-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Okay? Sons of the Most High, man. Children of the Most High. Yasha Allah. Princes of the Most High, man. Okay? So they don't understand these scriptures, man. As I tell you in Daniel 12 and 10. They don't have understanding. Okay? They have some form of understanding, but the Lord didn't give them the spirit to understand these scriptures. So let's go back and let's play a little more of this.
Peter is talking about the angels who sinned. He's very clearly talking about Genesis chapter 6 because
Right, in Genesis 6. And who's the angels that sinned? The Israelites, man. Okay, the men. The so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American men. Okay? Of the 12 tribes of Israel. We are those sons of God. We are those angels that sin, man. Because angels don't sin.
this is connected with the story of Noah. Some people say, well, no, he's not talking about Genesis 6. Well, then my question to them is, if Peter is trying to encourage his readers from well-known stories in the Old Testament, and if the angels who sinned is not Genesis 6, then where else is the story?
Right. That's facts, man. Okay? That's like I say, they got some form of understanding, but they don't know this truth, man. Okay? And he right, man. If it ain't talking about them that's in Genesis 6, who is talking about? It's talking about us, man. Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans.
There is no other story in the Old Testament that it could be referring to. Some people...
Well, it is another story. I just read it. It's in Genesis 32, man. Okay? When Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Okay? That's where it started at, man. Right there. In Genesis 32, man. Okay? When Jacob's name was changed to Israel.
People think that it's the fall of Satan, but as we're going to see when we talk about that, there is no story There is no story in the Old Testament that describes the fall of Satan.
You see that? That's facts. Now these Christians try to use Isaiah 14:12 when they say, "How thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning." See, even he know that story is not talking about Satan falling, man. Okay? Even this guy know that, man. But these wacky tacky Christians believe that that's talking about Satan falling. That's talking about the devil falling from out of heaven, man. No, man. And you see, this guy told you plain and simple, there's no story in the Bible that reference Satan falling to the earth, man, or fell from grace. You see that?
Peter is very clearly alluding to Genesis 6. Jude is doing the same thing, and it's very obvious in the book of Jude because he's talking about people who are false teachers, people who are going to deny the faith, and he also appeals to the Old Testament and shows how God delivered his people in the past, and he will do so in the future.
You see, he said God will deliver his people, okay? His people.
He also refers to two events. He refers to angels who abandoned their proper home, dwelling place, their proper home. He also talks about the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. And he says, since they, in the same way as these, committed strange immorality. Well, in the Greek text, the they refers to the angels. And the same way as these, the these refers to the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. So what the story of Genesis 6 has in common with the story of Sodom and Gomorrah is that there's an abnormal form of sexuality going on. If God can deliver his people from even the strangest perversions, then he will deliver the people who are listening to Peter and the people who are listening to Jude. He will deliver us. Now,
there is no us. That's only the Israelites. There's no everybody. Okay, if you're not from the seed of Jacob, Israel, then there's no delivering us. It's so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. And see, another good point to prove to you that they don't understand these scriptures, man. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 1. Let me see. 2nd Ezra. I think it's 2nd Ezra chapter 2. Let me let him speak on it, and I'm going to find this precept.
Someone might come to me and say, well, Jesus in the Gospels says that the angels in heaven neither marry nor are given in marriage. So it's impossible for an angel to have physical relations with human women. Well, they're not reading the Gospels accurately and clearly, because Jesus is saying that when in the resurrection, when Jesus returns at the end of history, we who are resurrected are not going to marry, because we're going to be like the angels in heaven. Notice he says the angels in heaven, and Jude says they left their proper dwelling place. So there's no contradiction between Jesus and Jude. In heaven, the angels don't marry. In Jude, they abandoned their proper dwelling place and they go to commit strange immorality. So there's no confusion. So it seems very clear. Genesis 6 is telling us that these are angels who are marrying humans, and Jude and Peter are telling us that is the correct interpretation.
Right, and that's facts, man. The angels, which was the Israelites, they came into the daughters of men, man. So like he said, people teach that the angels don't have sex, and the angels in heaven don't have sex, man. That wasn't talking about angelic beings, man. What it's called in 1 Corinthians, celestial bodies, right? The angels. And then you got terrestrial, which is the ones on earth. That ain't talking about, the angels in heaven don't have sex, man. So the sons of God that came to the daughters of men were Israelites, okay? And I'm looking for the precept in Second Ezra. Second Ezra chapter right here, Second Ezra chapter 1 and verse 39. And see, this clearly tell you, man, who Peter and Jude was talking about, man. Okay, and even in Psalms 82, man, it said, ye are all, I have said you are all gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High, man. Talking to you so-called Negro Latino Native Americans. This is Second Ezra chapter 1 and verse 39. Unto whom I will give for leaders Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Oshel, Amos, and Micah, Joel, Abdias, and Jonas, Nahum, and Habakkuk, Sophonius, Agias, Zachary, and Malachi, which is called also an angel of the Lord. Okay? These are angels, man. We are angels, man. What did it tell you in what that 2 Corinthians 2 Corinthians chapter 4, if I ain't mistaken. Let me find that real quick. Let me see. 2 Corinthians. Right, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7. But we have this treasure in earthly vessels. We have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. Okay? We have these treasures in these earthen vessels, man. Because we are the angels, man. We are the fallen ones. We are the sons of God, man. Okay? And he said, hey, the angels don't marry, man. So they get contradicted by that, man. And like he said, there's no contradiction in the Bible, man. Let's run that back. Let's run that back.
In the resurrection, when Jesus returns at the end of history, we who are resurrected are not going to marry, because we're going to be like the angels in heaven.
That's a lie. You see? It going off. And I'm going to get the precepts on it. Now, this is, let's read it. Let's start with these first. Let's get Psalms 132 and verse 10. And see, they don't understand these scriptures, man. Okay? They don't understand. This is Psalms 132. How we going to repopulate the kingdom if we ain't going to have no sex? And the kingdom of heaven is going to be here on earth. Okay? It ain't going to be in the sky, man. This is Psalms 132 and verse 10. Listen to this. For thy servant David's sake, turn not away thy face of thy anointed. The Lord Yahweh have sworn in truth unto David, he will not turn from it. Of the fruit of thy body will I set upon thy throne. Right? It said the fruit of thy body, which talking about Solomon, right? If thine children will keep my covenant and my testimony that I shall teach them, their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore. How is that possible? Verse 13, Psalms 132 and 13. For the Lord Yahweh have chosen Zion, he have desired it for his habitation. That's forever, man. So if we ain't gonna have sex in the kingdom, how are the seeds of David gonna sit on the throne evermore, man? It don't make no sense. So now he's contradicting himself because he don't know the scriptures. Let's get another one. This is Psalms 128 in verse 3. It reads, thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine by the sides of thine house, thy children like olive plants round about thy table. Behold, it say that thus shall the man be blessed that feareth the Lord. The Lord shall bless thee out of Zion, and thou shalt see the good of Jerusalem all the days of thy life. Yea, thou shalt see thy children's children, and peace upon Israel. This talking about the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be here on earth, man. Let's get another one. This is Psalms 127:3. And it reads, lo, children are an heritage of the Lord Yahweh, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. That's another cut. That's another cut of what he's talking about, man. Okay, let's get one more. Okay, hey, this showing you that we're gonna have kids in the kingdom, man. This is Isaiah 60 and 20. Hey, these Idumeans, they don't know these scriptures, man. It's Isaiah 60 and 22. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a great, and a small one. Read again, Isaiah 60 and 22. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. Our Lord Yahweh will hasten it in his time. This time out in the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be here on earth, man. So what this guy talking about? Let's go on.
Notice he says the angels in heaven, and Jude says they left their proper dwelling place. So there's no contradiction between Jesus and Jude.
Facts.
In heaven, the angels don't marry. In Jude, they abandoned their proper dwelling place and they go to commit strange immorality. So there's no...
How do the angels do that? This ain't talking about the angels in the spiritual realm, man. It's talking about us, Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Okay? The angels of the Lord, man. I just read to you in 2nd Ezra, man. Okay? Chapter 1, verse 39, man. Habakkuk, Micah, Obadiah, okay? Amos, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We are angels, man. Okay?
There's no confusion. So it seems very clear. Genesis 6 is telling us that these are angels who are marrying humans, and Jude and Peter are telling us that is the correct interpretation.
Facts.
The next piece is, who are the Nephilim? In verse 4 of Genesis 6, it says the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God had relations with human women, and they bore children of them. End of sentence.
Hey, angels don't have kids, man. Hey, let's read the one in Hebrews, man. Let's see what Yahushua said. It's Hebrews 2 and 14. For as much then as the children are partakers of the flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same. So it was no virgin birth. Gabriel didn't impregnate Mary, man. The Lord deal with a lineage. Read Matthew 1:1, man. Okay? Read Luke chapter 1, man. Luke chapter 2. The Lord deal with a lineage. Reading again, Hebrews 2 and 14. For as much then as the children are partakers of the flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same. Who? Yahushua, who you ignorantly call Jesus. That through death he may destroy him that have the power of death, that is the devil, and deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. Who? Israelites, man. It say, verse 16, for verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham. Okay? Wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren. Who it is talking about, man? Just talking about Yahushua. Okay? He took on him the seed of Abraham, man, to be made like his brethren. Who is his brethren? First off, you got James and Jude. Okay, they was the Lord's brother. Then you got all these prophets and messengers in this Bible, man. Okay? He was made like them, man. But we are the angels in the Bible, man. We are the fallen ones. We are the sons of God, man. Princes of power, man. Okay?
New sentence. They were the heroes who were from the ancient past, men of renown. There's two major sentences there. First one says, the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterward. There are two possible interpretations of this expression. They were on the earth in those days and afterward. What does that mean? They were there in those days and afterward. Well, some people think this means that the Nephilim were the children that came from the angels who married the women in Genesis 6, verses 1 to 3, and that the Nephilim were the product of these unnatural unions, and they...
Man, that's talking about us, man. Okay? Before the flood, right? Then after the flood, you had who? Noah, and his 3 sons, man. Okay? Sons of God, man. Princes of power, man. Okay? Before the flood and after. That's what it's talking about, man.
They appeal to texts from the 3rd century BC and 2nd century BC, the so-called Enochic traditions, the traditions about Enoch, where the Nephilim are interpreted as giants. There's another interpretation that's possible. When it says the Nephilim were there in those days and also afterward, it could mean that before the angels had sex with the human women, the Nephilim were there, and they were also there after the angels had sex with women. So it could mean that the Nephilim had nothing to do with the angels marrying the humans.
Hey, and listen, man. And that's the facts, man. Listen, Nephilim, these back in the ancient time, men was of higher stature, man. Today, if you look at Shaq compared to Kevin Hart, man, Shaq will be a giant, man. Okay? Shaq will be a giant compared to me, man. Okay, they were just men of high stature, man. That had nothing to do with the sons of God coming into the daughters of men. The sons of God coming into the daughters of men. They had nothing to do with no giants, man. Okay? Nephilim just mean fallen, man. The fallen ones, man. Which was the sons of God. Period, man. It ain't rocket science.
I think that is the correct interpretation for 2 reasons. First of all, I examined every occurrence of this expression and also afterward. I went to the Hebrew Bible, I looked up every occurrence of this phrase, and I examined how it was used. And the second interpretation best fits and suits how this word is used. So when it says they were there in those days and also afterward, it means the Nephilim were there before angels cohabited with humans, and they were there after angels cohabited with humans. There's a second reason why this is the correct interpretation. The last sentence says they were the heroes who were from the ancient past, the men of renown. This sentence does not begin with and. Now that's very, very important. Almost every sentence in the Hebrew Bible begins with and. When a sentence does not begin with and, it does so for 2 reasons. It could be because it's beginning a new section, or secondly, because it's making a comment on the previous sentence, what we would call a footnote. It's very clear that this sentence is not beginning a new section, but it's acting like a footnote on the previous sentence. So the previous sentence is saying that the Nephilim were there before the angels and the humans cohabited, and they were there after. And it's making a brief comment that they were the ancient heroes. In this case, what Moses is doing is he's demythologizing the Nephilim. You notice, one of the things that we should notice is the text doesn't tell us who the Nephilim were. What does that mean? Why doesn't the text tell us who they were? Because they were well known to the first readers of this text. The first readers of this text knew who the Nephilim were and didn't need that explained to them. And all Moses is saying is, look, whoever you think these heroes are, like Gilgamesh, these ancient heroes, these men of renown, you've read about them in the ancient mythologies. Whoever they were, they're not part of this story. They don't come from the cohabitation of angels and humans. And I think that's the correct interpretation. But the problem is, this has been a difficult text to interpret. And it has not always been interpreted correctly down through the centuries. And in the 3rd century BC and the 2nd century BC, they came to an incorrect interpretation. They thought that the Nephilim were giants who were produced by angels cohabiting with humans. And this got into the book of Enoch. And Paul warns his readers against this because he says in his letters to Timothy, don't argue over endless genealogies and foolish myths. This is a direct reference to the book of Enoch, which has a long genealogy of all the angels until you finally come down to Satan. And then they blame all the evil in the world on Satan. What they're trying to do is they're trying to blame chaos and death and evil in the world on angelic sin instead of blaming it on human sin. And the Bible clearly puts the blame on humans. Genesis 3 shows how sin came into the world. How did we live in a world that is troubled by chaos, by death, by evil, by sin, by selfishness, by all kinds of corruption? That came about because God made a covenant with the first humans, and they broke that covenant. They were fickle, they were disloyal, they were unfaithful, they cheated on God in the relationship.
Right. We committed spiritual fornication, man. Went the horn out to other gods. Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, man. The 12 tribes of Israel, man. That's why he says he's going to make a new covenant with Israel in Hebrews 8 and 8. Now, let's shed some more light about this whole Nephilim deal, okay? This is Numbers 13. Numbers 13 and verse 32, okay? Let's read about this. This with Joshua and Caleb. Let's read this. Let's start at verse 1 so you can understand what's going on. This is Numbers 13 and 1. And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Send thy men that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them. And Moses, by the commandment of the Lord Yahweh, sent them from the wilderness to Paran. All those men were heads of the children of Israel. Okay, let's understand this. So it tell you. Let's read it. And these were the names of the tribes of Reuben. Okay. Then it say of the tribe of Simeon, of the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Jephunneh. It say of the tribe of Issachar. Okay. Of the tribe of Ephraim, of the tribe of Benjamin, of the tribe of Zebulun, of the tribe of Joseph. Okay. Of the tribe of Manasseh, it say, in the tribe of Dan, and the tribe of Asher, and the tribe of Naphtali, and the tribe of Gad. Okay. Get you to understand what's going on. The Lord say, send men to scope out the land. Now, it's a good story. You can read the story, but let's get to the point. The point is verse 32 and 33. So let's read Numbers 13 and 30. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, We be not able to go up against this people, for they are stronger than we. Okay? We're understanding about the Nephilim, okay? About the giants that was in the land in those days. They just was men of stature, man, high stature. Verse 32 say, Numbers 13 and 32, and they brought up an evil report of the land, which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eaten up. Is a land that eateth up the habitation thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. Okay? They are men of great stature. That's all it means, man. Okay? Verse 33. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Enoch, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight as grasshoppers. Okay? Let's read again. And all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And there we saw the giants. They were just men of great stature, man. Like I said, Shaquille O'Neal to Kevin Hart is a giant, man. You people don't have no understanding of these scriptures, man. Why? Because you don't read and study, man. They just men of stature. That's why they was before and after, okay? and going into before the flood and after the flood, man. Okay?
And they rebelled against him. And so when Jude quotes and refers to this material, he's showing that it's the sin is in the world because of human rebellion, not because of angelic sin.
Right. Hey, that's facts, man. Okay? That's facts, man. Hey, so Lord willing, that's edifying. Matter of fact, let me read 2 more precepts before I close out. Now, the scriptures say, Revelation 21, we know the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth, and we got to repopulate the earth, okay? That's why I say a little one should be 1,000, man, okay? A little one should be 1,000. It's Revelation 21:1, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Why was the first heaven and the first earth passed away? Because of the fire, man. Okay? From those intercontinental ballistic missiles. Destruction. Verse 2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride, adored for her husband. Who's the bride? The elect of Israel, man. Okay? Matthew 25, man. The 5 wise virgins. The 5 wise virgins. Verse 3, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them and be their God. It said the tabernacle of the Most High, the tabernacle of God shall be with men, right? Let's read that. Ezekiel 37. In verse Ezekiel 37 and 19, it reads, say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand, and the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thy hand before thy eyes. And say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, behold, I will make the children of Israel, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be the king over them all. And they shall be no more 2 nations, the northern and southern kingdom, neither shall they be divided into 2 kingdoms any more at all, the northern and southern kingdom. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned. Okay? The angels that sinned. It's Israelites, man. And will cleanse them, so shall they be my people, and I will be their God. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant. The only people that can be servants, the only people that can be saints are the Israelites, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever. So if the kingdom of heaven, we ain't gonna repopulate to have more kids, how is this supposed to happen? Your children's children's children. How does this supposed to happen? And my servant David shall be their king forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. Who? Israelites. Okay? And I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Just said the same thing in Revelation 21:3. The tabernacle of the Most High is with men. What men? Israelite men, so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. I read again. Ezekiel 37:27. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their God, and they shall be my people, and the heathen shall know that I, the Lord Yahweh, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. Israel, man. Okay? Let's read this. Revelation 5 in verse 9 and 10. And it reads, Revelation 5, 9 and 10. Okay? Because this further proves the point, man. Kingdom of heaven gonna be on earth, and the kingdom of heaven is for the Israelites, and we shall rule, and we shall populate the kingdom of heaven, man. Revelation 5 and 9. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. Yahushua did that. That was only one that can open the book and loosen the seal. That was Yahushua. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us, who? The elect of Israel, to God by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. Well, in the New Jerusalem that John saw coming down out of heaven, man. Okay? And have made us unto our God kings and priests. What does Exodus 19 say? Let's read Exodus 19 real quick. This is Exodus 19 in verse let's read Exodus 19 and 5. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and holy nation. And in holy nation, these are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. Nobody else can't come into this, man. Let's close with this. Isaiah 59 and 20 reads, And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgressions in Jacob, saith the Lord. As for me, this is the covenant. This is my covenant with them, saith the Lord Yahweh. My spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth shall not depart out of the mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed's seed, saith the Lord Yahweh, from henceforth and forever. So that proves to you the scriptures I brought out. We're going to repopulate the kingdom, man. Once the kingdom is established on the earth, man. When the Lord wipes away and when he cleaned the earth off, man. The new heaven and new earth, man. Okay? It's going to be filled. A little one shall become 1,000, man. And that cannot happen without having sex, man. Okay? Repopulating the kingdom, man. And so with that, got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well. And a sincere salutation to all the Akim, pushing the truth and believing the truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect, and shalom to our who are listening and learning, a few sisters who are listening and learning. Hey, till next time, Lord willing, shalom.